गुड इवनिंग जेंटलमैन दोस्तों, बहुत अच्छा टाइम है टू टॉक टू यू अगेन। और मैं आपको रिमाइंड करूंगा अबाउट वन ऑफ द वेरी फेमस प्ले राइट्स ऑफ द इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज, दैट इज विलियम शेक्सपियर। नाउ विलियम शेक्सपियर इज एन आइकन इन इंग्लिश लिटरेचर and he's written some of the first class plays, rather the immortal plays during his tenure as the bard on the Avon. William Shakespeare is rated as a master of tragedy, and some of his tragedies like Hamlet or Othello the Moor, and then we have Julius Caesar, Cymbeline, are very famous. And now the question is, why should I mention about the tragedies of William Shakespeare? I am mentioning them because, well, you need not read the plays of Shakespeare, because the same plays are being enacted every day in Pakistan. Now, this is something to be correlated. Pakistan is passing through a Shakespearean tragedy for the last 75 years. And the fact is, they are doing what we do in armies called kadam tal, that is, you keep on marching on the spot and you neither move forward nor backward. So they are just standing there, marching away and not knowing what to do. Pakistan is now in the throes of death. This is the way I look at it. And if you look at the history right from 47 onwards, after the death of Jinnah, and followed by the assassination of Liaquat Ali Khan in 1951, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, it's one long story which is both macabre and terrible, where the ruling force is death and destruction. And the bigger part of this death and destruction is courtesy the Pakistan Army, which has been at the forefront since 1958. And they've been ruling Pakistan for the last 66 years. Now, they may rule directly or by proxy, but everywhere it's the Pakistan Army is ruling. I think this force should feel a little ashamed of itself. I'll tell you why. Just compare it with Turkey, where General Mustafa, later known as the Ataturk, led a military dictatorship that overthrew the caliphate. And what did they do? They brought in secularism into the country in the constitution. Number two, they made Turkey into a modern country, with the result that a person like me, when he goes to Istanbul, he finds there's hardly any difference between Vienna, Rome, or Paris, and Istanbul is in the same level. The women are dressed the same way, and it's a modern city. Whereas the Pakistan Army has led the Pakistan people to obscurantism. We have men like General Zia-ul-Haq, who went and got the Prime Minister of Pakistan murdered by a judicial edict for a crime he had not committed. And then he brought in what is called the Hudud Ordinance, which took away certain crimes like rape against women out of the purview of the Pakistan Penal Code and put them under the Sharia. And you know what that means? You need 4 witnesses in a Sharia, and a woman's evidence is half of a man. So the net result is a charge of rape against a woman will never be proved. Now, this was the man also who made the crime of blasphemy cognizable and introduced a mandatory death sentence for it. Nowhere in the world. With the result, as it stands now, I think Pakistan has got about 120 men and women, mostly from the minorities, who are facing the death penalty for blasphemy. I don't think anywhere in the world is like that. So this is the contribution of the Pakistan Army. So all this leads like Hamlet's tragedy. And now what happened lately is something worth we must think about. The Pakistan army, as I've told you, is always called all the shots. They fire the guns and the politicians keep dancing up and down. So they decided that Nawaz Sharif had grown too big for his boots and he must be removed. So they brought in some false charges, I don't know, they could be true, of corruption, and he was sent into exile with a jail term of 10 years. And the the army brought their own critique, a person called Imran Khan as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. But Imran Khan was a different kettle of fish, and he didn't play ball with the Pakistani army, and he thought he's bigger than the army, and he began to fight the army itself and began to dictate orders to them. This was something not acceptable to the Pakistan army, and they were hunting around who should replace him, and they did a very nice thing. A somersault. They called Nawaz Sharif back from London, told him, look, you become the Prime Minister now, we'll see to it that you win, and number two, we'll drop all the charges against you. Now you can just imagine the judiciary, which had earlier sentenced Nawaz to 10 years of jail, again convened, and the courts declared that the charges are redundant and Nawaz is a free man. But the people were fired with the imagination of Imran Khan, and when the election took place, Imran's party, which had not allowed to contest the election on its symbol, won the maximum number of seats in the assembly or in the Senate. And obviously Nawaz Sharif had no face to show, so he quietly just slunk away like a rat, went and hid somewhere and made his brother the Prime Minister of Pakistan. The army were very pleased that they got a yes man who would say 3 sirs, yes sir, 3 bags full. And Nawaz Sharif, of course, would not have done that, so he quietly stepped aside and put his brother in charge. Now the brother is Shahbaz Sharif. I think he's had an inglorious life, number of wives, and just having a ball in life. And now this man is at the beck and call of the army. And the army was feeling frightened of Imran Khan because he was showing a lot of spunk. And he was getting the imagination of the people, so they thought we should finish this man once for all. They had earlier, maybe, not very sure, engineered the assassination attempt also when he was leading the march from Lahore to Islamabad against the government after he had been overthrown in a midnight vote. But the net result of that was that somebody fired at him, he escaped, got a bullet in his leg, in his feet, but he's recovered, and now he's sitting in jail. And now the orders of the army have come to Nawaz Sharif, and he's been told that you are to ban the PTI, the party of Imran Khan. I mean, nothing could be so stupid and preponderously silly as this act. In addition, they are trying Imran Khan under Section 6, of the Act, the Constitution, which says that he's has done acts which are treasonable and carry a death sentence. So nothing should be taken for granted. The army is capable of doing anything, and they don't follow Islamic principles. It's a lip service, and they could even execute Imran Khan anytime. But as I told you, the days of Bhutto are over, when Bhutto was executed by Zia-ul Haq, because the world is awake, and I think they'll put in a lot of pressure on the Pakistan army and the government not to carry out such a nefarious activities. Dosto, the question is very simple. The army is calling all the shots, and as I told you, Shahbaz Sharif has got no say at all in anything. And one thing we must remember, that all Pakistan prime ministers from Liaquat Ali Khan downwards for the last 73 years have either been killed, hanged, exiled, imprisoned, sent out of office disgracefully. Nobody's had a peaceful life, and I'm very sure at the back of his mind, Shahbaz Sharif will also be wondering the same thing may not happen to him. Add to this, there are other problems. And the biggest problem is the economic problem. The Pakistan army is like a white elephant and its fighting efficiency was zero. And you know what's happening lately. A massive insurrection is on against the Pakistan army, and that compounds Shakespeare's tragedies. The terrorists have now attacked the army camp at Banu, and I think close to 30 people have died in that attack, including a helicopter being downed. A couple of army officers have also been sent to the next world. So this is a big setback for General Munir, who is the chief of the Pakistan army, and he must be wondering what the hell is going on. So he's trying to divert attention by sending some terrorists into the Kashmir Valley in India, and they are having some success. I think they killed about 4 or 5 Indian soldiers, but the Indians are reacting, so let's see what happens. So gentlemen, Pakistan is facing a crisis, economic crisis, a military crisis, a Balochistan Liberation Front crisis where the BLA is fighting for an independent Balochistan, and then in the Pakhtun Valley, a lot of area has been taken over with the support of the Afghans by the Taliban, where the writ of the Taliban runs and not the government. And it can be seen from the latest attack in Banu that these are men who cannot be trifled with. So Pakistan, gentlemen, is now facing a demise. And in my opinion, this is the first step in the breakup of Pakistan. In 71, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was instrumental in the breakup of Pakistan because he had a complicit general, Yahya Khan, sitting at his beck and call. And the sad part is that the situation of 1971 is being repeated in 2024. What is that? In 71, the Awami League had won the party elections, but they were not offered any chance to form the government. On the contrary, the Awami League was banned, and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the leader of the Awami League, was arrested, sentenced to death. Now, similar things are happening in Pakistan now. The PTI, the party of Imran Khan, has been banned, just like the Awami League. And just as Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was in jail and sentenced to death, Imran Khan is similarly in jail and he could be facing a death sentence. So it's a similar thing continuing all over. It's a repeat of the 1971 picture. And just after 1971, the Pakistan state broke into two. There is a chance that a similar thing could happen in Pakistan even now. So gentlemen, this is a macabre Shakespearian tragedy unfolding before us, before our eyes. And one doesn't have to watch Shakespeare to see it. I think you can just study the Pakistan way of life, the way the politician, the army act, and you have Shakespeare's tragedy in front of you. Gentlemen, I think I'll close now. I hope you like this video. Please share it with your friends, and I look forward to interacting with you again. God bless, and come back again.